In the officers' mess of the 1st Battalion Mechanized Infantry, it's Ladies' Night. It takes me back to my days as a National Service officer in the British Army. Before it was mechanized, this was the 1st Battalion, the Madras Regiment, and the officers still honour its proud history, going back long before independence. India has the 3rd largest army in the world, with more than 1 million men. And since independence, they've fought 4 wars against external enemies. Major Katka is a company commander and comes from a military family. If you want to see British traditions preserved in India, the army is the place to look. And unlike so many other armies in developing countries, it has kept out of politics. Indian democracy has never been threatened by a military coup.
Seat over. Ek. Do. Ek. Do.
In a country not known for orderliness, Indian army officers, as well as men, live strictly disciplined lives. Perhaps they're helped by being isolated in cantonments, away from the prevailing indiscipline in the rest of the country.
It's very impressive to me that you, as an officer, do PT with the men. So often it seems to me that officers stand and watch the men doing these sort of things.
This is the hallmark of Indian Army officers, that whatever our men do, we do it better. And we have to do it with them, because if you don't do it better than them, if you can't lead them from the front, you cannot command men.
You won't command their respect.
You cannot command their respect, and finally in war, you have to lead them from the front. So you have to do it better than them, if not as good as them.
They're very realistic, isn't it?
Well, they're tough soldiers.
They have to be, I should think, don't they?
For the last 50 years, Jeremiahs have been prophesying that differences of religion or language would pull this vast country apart. If the Indian Army had not maintained the British tradition of discipline, this could well have happened. But one British tradition that the Army is trying to change is the segregating of men according to caste, creed and geographical region.
I see you've got a Sikh here, Major Katka. Does that mean that now all your soldiers don't come from Madras, although this was originally the Madras Regiment?
We in the Indian Army are doing our bit towards national integration.
I see.
And the Mechanized Regiment were the first few in the Army to go for this All India class composition.
I see. Then that's quite different to the tradition of the British Army when they were here, isn't it?
Yes. Till about 1981, we were following the British tradition, where we had most of our men from the southern part of India.
What other parts of India do people come from here? Then,
if we take a random group here,
yes.
If you see, you have one from Nepal.
Yes. आप नेपाल से हैं?
Yes.
कहाँ का रहने वाला है?
धौलागिरी बागलू.
अच्छा जी. Do you find that this works, or are there tensions between them?
We have been in this composition for the last 10 years now, and we have absolutely no problem.
And you think this is an improvement on the old British tradition of having regiments of one religion and one from one area as well?
It is an improvement. It gives idea of oneness. It gives you one aim. You fight for your own country. And I like to emphasize here that we are a voluntary army.
Yes.
So you have a Sikh here.
Yes.
You have a Muslim here.
Yeah.
You have a Christian here.
Where's the Christian? Oh, yes.
And it is a bit difficult on the commanders, because you have to cater for people from 23 states with 23 different religions, beliefs, food habits. Well, it's a challenge, but the men are happy. They're fighting well.
So there must be a lot of different languages in this regiment as well. How many languages do you have to speak?
You cannot keep up with all the languages,
No.
but I can speak 4 or 5 of them.
4 and 5. But there is really one language of the army, isn't there? Hindi, which everyone has to know.
We have a national language, that is the Hindi.
So really, what you're saying is that the Indian Army is a microcosm of this vast and diverse country called India. It's a mini India in some ways.
Yes, it is. And we lay example for the others to follow, that we can coexist together. If we can do it, everyone can do it.
Tomorrow, the regiment leaves barracks for the climax of the annual training season in the Rajasthan desert. Major Khatka explains what his company's role will be in an exercise involving planes and tanks, as well as the infantry.
जहाँ पर हमारा ये 7 platoon contract में है, you have a regiment moving from the left,
Yes,
and from the right,
yes,
and closing in.
yes.
And that's where
And these will be tanks coming up.
Yes, these are armored regiments.
Yes, I think actually I can see them there, over there.
India has a border of over 8,000 miles to guard, much of it disputed by its neighbours China and Pakistan. These disputes were the direct cause of 3 out of the 4 wars India has fought in the last 50 years. The 4th was in support of Bangladesh's struggle for independence from Pakistan.
You have to be fairly tough to operate in a desert like this. Why did you choose such an arduous life? Why didn't you choose something a bit more cushy than the army?
Well, in India, you don't really choose anything. You always say it's destiny. But let me come down to a little more, being a little practical.
Yes.
My father was in the army, and I have grown up in this atmosphere, and it was but natural for me to come into the army.
And you don't regret the choice?
Not at all. Given a choice today, I would still be in the army, because it is that spirit of adventure which I get here. It satisfies my spirit of adventure.
What else do you find attractive about the army life? Because there are a lot of disadvantages, aren't there?
Apart from the adventure, like you are here in the deserts, and then you're in the jungles, in the high altitude, in the glacier regions. These are tough regions, but there's something poetic about them. There's something peaceful about them. And it also satisfies my poetic and artistic, this thing.
There's quite a lot of the artist in you, isn't there? I've seen your drawings and paintings.
Yes, and wherever you have creative talent, you want to satisfy it. So along with my adventurous aspirations, I can also satisfy my creative talents.
By being in the army?
By being in the army.
Because some people would think the army might smother creative talent, but you don't find that.
No, if you're a creative man, you're creative everywhere.
The army has also been called in to combat separatist movements within India. There have been allegations of misconduct in Kashmir in particular, and the Army High Command itself has admitted that its soldiers should pay more attention to human rights. The Army is now accountable to the Indian Human Rights Commission. Traditional armies don't usually like to be on active service within their own countries, but Major Khatka sees this as part of his role.
Does it distress you that the army has to be called out quite often for civil disorders, for riots, for separatist movements and things like that?
No, I feel proud of doing it. If somebody wants me, it actually fills me with pride that there is somebody that recognizes you, and he feels that you are good, and then he's calling for you. I don't think it should distress me at all.
The Indian Army has played its role in society in a disciplined manner. If the politicians and civil servants would do the same, India could well become a leading world power. Major Khatka has more modest hopes.
I don't have very large ambitions. I would like India to maintain its old traditions, its ethos that is there. I would like everybody, that is all the religions, Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, stay peacefully, and I would like India to grow as a big democracy. And yes, we like to be peaceful, and we like to promote peace in the world.
Become a great power in the world?
I don't think we don't want to be over-ambitious. We don't. We like everyone to be equally. We don't want to be a superpower or anything of that sort.